I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light.
We are going back to the FenixSim A320 CEO, so current engine option, and I've already asked for the passengers to board. However, I do need to power up the plane, otherwise the galley will have no power whatsoever. Alright, so this is enough for the passengers to get some power back there. Let's also get the ground control, all that. We'll get back to the cockpit in a moment. Let's do the walk around. So before the pass, oh, sorry about that, excuse me. All right, here we go. So hello Denise, one night. So the CEO is a very robust airplane, proof being given lots of times. At tudo bem, Denise? E consigo também? So we're looking into our static port on the right side, as well as our static, that's one there, and there's two right here. And we're also gonna take a good look at the vanes up front. So these two vanes, as well as the pitos, one on the left, two on the left, and one on the right. After that, we go check out our front landing gear, check out the runway turn-off lights, as well as the taxi and takeoff lights. I'm going to confirm that parking brake light is set right there, the red light, as it should. The beep you're hearing is because the plane has not been powered up, so the cargo doors aren't opening, but we'll get to that in a moment. So meanwhile, we'll carry on observing the underbelly, make sure there's no leakages, no open panels, and let's take a good look at our right main landing gear. So brakes look good, no leakages. Sometimes when planes come in, they might be leaking some water, but that's perfectly normal. That's just condensation. These are the IAE engines, so not a lot of room here, but we can squeeze in. Nice. So these are the IAE engines, so they're built by consortium that includes Rolls-Royce. They're a bit different from the CFM engine. And once more, I can't really see the cross inside, which I should. And I can't see it either here. Maybe it's not modeled, but it should be. Now the green light's not on, so the plane's not properly energized, as I said before. That's why the cargo hasn't been loading. So we have looked here for at the wings. Mais voo, Diniz. Mais voo. Agora vamos para Praga. Vamos ver como é que vai correr. Also take a good look at the flaps here. Now coming down here for continuing on the underbelly. Making sure there are no doors, no leakages, no visible leakages, because if they're minute, we might not ever be able to see it, but those aren't really that important. Also take a good look at the horizontal stabilizer as well as the vertical stabilizer, as well as the antennas up front. We can only look at the antennas up front, up on top, when we look away from the plane. There's 1, 2, 3. All of these antennas are very important, including the VHF and satellites radomes if we have to, if we haven't one installed. Also take a good look here at APU zone to see if there's any leakages and if the door is properly closed. These doors open wide. There are 1 and 2 doors, they will open. Now coming back down here, we will take a good look at our flap area, as well as these aerodynamic appendages, the sharklet, and we should have the lights turned on. They should be red. You can see the lamps there are green. Maybe it's just a texture, but now let's take a good look at the engine, making sure, well, that this cone is improperly placed. And take a good look here at our engine here, see there's no blades missing or damaged. Also take a good look at the wheel well. When these planes are in storage, there's always an appendage here, like a block in this vein here, if you want to call that. I don't know what's the name in English, but if there's it's like a remove before flight item, so make sure it's there. It's not there, otherwise the gear will not retract. These are the main landing lights. This is the left one, the right one I missed, but I'll go there in a moment. Take a good look at our main landing gear, left main landing gear, looking good. Let's go back here just to check on the landing lights here. There it is, it's looking good. Can't see if it's broken or not, but still. Alright, looks like we have performed the outside inspection. Let's go inside and let's energize the plane so that we can continue with our checklist. So before anything else, we go to our cockpit preparation checklist. Let me pick up my checklist on my side. I'm running a paper checklist. I'm thinking about having a visual checklist for you guys to follow, but you can trust me, this is a checklist from a particular SOP. So cockpit pre-flight checklist. We got parking brake set to on. Let's turn on the dome light here real quick. Too bright, please. Thank you. And now let's illuminate the cockpit properly. Integrated light, the flood light, and the rear flood for the pedestal, looking good. Alright, so parking brake is set, flaps are up, spoilers are retracted and disarmed, weather radar is off with the up position, and the PWS or predictive wind shear is set to off. Engine master switches 1 and 2 to off, and main engine mode selector to normal. Hello MC, nice to see you here. It's always the feeling, right? Boarding in a plane. Thrust lever set to idle, gear is down, we've seen it touch the floor, and the wipers are both off. 1 and 2, they're both off. Alright, cockpit pre-flight checklist complete. Let's carry on with the preparing for the flight. Now you know I love the Fenix aircraft because it's so easy to do these things, but recently we are 31 minutes ahead schedule, so this is good. So I'm not sure why the forward and aft cargo doors aren't opening automatically, but we'll be loading aircraft via boarding only. Load fuel instantly. Alright, so all passengers have been boarded. Hold on, let me reset everything. Stand by. Because we need to... Something's not right. What's going on here? So, let's go to my flights, import again. Ground services, and all right. Now there's a discrepancy here. So aircraft's been loaded. Restart collateral. Stand by. Don't go anywhere. GSX being GSX, right? Reset all. See, sometimes we get these little bugs that they're just annoying. Alright, so appears that GSX has been reloaded, so we're gonna go back in, import flight again, once more time, and now let's load aircraft, boarding only, instant fuel. Alright, here we go. So let's... Oh, well, it picked it for me. Alright. I took the liberty of closing down the blinder here because, as you can see inside the jetway. I want my privacy. When we were exiting to perform the outside inspection, there were passengers loaded already, so I think that bugged GSX. As usual, there's always something with GSX, right, guys? Oh, sorry about that. You're looking at the ceiling here. Alright, so our flight plan has been loaded, so let's load it into the EFB. Now let's load it to the plane. Here it's a little different from the FS Labs. You can also go to the AOC menu, and request flight initiation and request. So this is a Wizzair flight all the way from Gatwick to Prague. London Gatwick to Prague, and we're expecting some good weather, but you may never know. At least the winds, they looked a little rough. You think so, Richard? I think so. They're very Fenix is reliable, right? Let's go for the pre-departure clearance. We are at gate. Come on, give me the gate number. Come on. Oh, it's up there. Let me get my track IR. Okay. Gate 20, alright. Gate 20, let's listen to the 80s from Gatwick. Comms are okay, let's open London Gatwick 80s.
18, landing and departing runway 26 left, transition level 060, 5G notice in effect, advise on initial contact, you have information, hotel.
We got hotel.
Gatwick Airport, information, hotel, 2130 Zulu, wind 155 at tree, ceiling and visibility okay, temperature 0 tree, dew point -02, QNH 1018, landing and departing runway 26 left, transition level 060, 5G notice in effect, advise on initial contact, you have information, hotel.
So we got hotel, we got a 5G notice.
Gatwick Airport, information, hotel, 2130 Zulu.
So let's go to ground and let's try CPDLC now. So we got hotel, BAMO, and now EGKK for Gatwick, and let's see if we get CPDLC working today, which seems to be like a hit and miss thing these days. Alright, looks like we're getting properly loaded now. Passengers are boarding, as you can see. It wasn't happening previously. Yeah, I think the Fenix is robust and it's reliable. And we have Betsy, something we don't have on the FS Labs, for example. Not all planes have Betsy, but we got Betsy on the Fenix, which is clear indication that something's good. Still waiting for the CPDLC. Let me see if Beyond ATC got it. Yeah, Beyond ATC received it. Now we're just waiting for it to send to the plane. It simulates the waiting time for usually the pre-departure clearance, but I'm not sure if this is that good, to be honest. So let's go here to our charts, and we got some start charts. So apparently we're gonna do MIMFO 1 mic today, which is quite the standard departure. Usually we can go through the south, but south usually are the approaches to Gatwick, so departures usually go to north, northeast, northwest. Today we're going northeast, but usually that's what happens. And we got very specific altitudes to stabilize here. As you can see, it's going to be 4,000, then 5,000, then 6,000. And even though the plane might be way higher than that at this point, we're never cleared to go beyond that, so we'll see. Usually ATC and Beyond ATC is not very keen on keeping altitudes on departure, but we'll see. Still waiting for that CPDLC answer. I'm not sure if I have to do anything here, but I'm pretty sure that there's nothing to. So data link config, that's my Simbrief. Don't look at that. Nah, it's okay. So that's my Simbrief, but that's it. There's no more setups to be done, is there? Let's see, maintenance. No failures. Yeah, I think these are the controls. Sometimes we get some weird, funky issues, but so I do have the clearance. It's just not going to the plane just yet. Not sure why. And there's nothing more to. Let's see settings here. So my Simbrief name, meta source. Let's change this. Aviation weather is fine. Flight mode. So I wonder if we have to set up VHF 3 for Beyond ATC, because I'm not sure if this is going to do anything. But let me just try. Because usually this is like, you know, this is sim. This has nothing to do with that. Yeah, it used to work. I might have to review that. It used to work. You used to get the sent to the the DCDU, but it's not being sent right now. Let me check config again. No, this is just data link. Pretty sure it's compatible with Beyond ATC. It's just not working right now. AOC function. Flight plan and its requests. Wind data request. This is not it. So. Yeah. Sometimes these things happen. So let's see. Heitsu. Data link status. Oh, it's the COM menu. Stand by. It's the COM menu. Data mode. And oh my. So passengers have been loaded. So there's no Beyond ATC here. Set on auto. 131. So usually this is where you, let's see, COM config. No, this is not it. I'm gonna have to do this later. I do have the Beyond ATC clearance here, so I'll write it down. So cleared for LKPR runway 26 Lima. Let's set that up. Runway 26 Lima for the departure. It's just not being broadcast here, but I do have it. So runway 26 Lima via MIM F1M. So that's the one we were looking at before. Is there a transition here? No transition. Initial climb 6000, squawk 3720. Alright, 3720. Let's not wait that much longer. Let's carry on. So, AT's hotel, when ready, call 121.805. If unable, revert to voice. Alright, so we got clearance. Unfortunately, we cannot make any kind of interaction with the DCDU, but it is what it is. So let's go to ground now. London Gatwick ground already. So let's start our APU. 3. So when we start master switch, we gotta wait 3 seconds to set up the starter. Otherwise, you'll not be able to start the APU. So lead cockpit preparation, battery 1 and 2 is on, external power on, accumulator brakes pressure both on green, flap is open, APU starting. Instrument display brightness as required, crew supply is on, CVR tests. This one should work, at least I think this one works. Yep, there it is, there's a tone. We got ADRs 1, 2, and 3 set to nav, external lights to wing and nav. Logo 1. Annunciator lights check. Looking good. Looking good. You see that ATC message? This is the one that should blink when we receive a message from ACARS, but today it's not working. Cockpit door is closed. Alright, looks good. It's not disperse on what we need to do. APU available, APU bleed on. It is available. Alright, we're ready now, but we're not going to perform the battery check. Oh, we can perform the battery check, so let's go to page elec. We're not going to perform the fire tests today. Battery 1, battery 2. Let's switch off battery 1. We got bat 1 off symbology as well as off button. Switch it back on. Now go for battery 2. Battery 1 is back on. Amps should go back down to 0. We got bat 2 off. Let's bring it on. Alright, off is off, off symbology is off, and as you can see the amps will be reducing slowly. It should be 0 amps. Alright, so now let's perform the engine fire test. I said I wouldn't perform the APU fire test because the APU is already on. We're trying to abbreviate this. So engine 1 fire tests. We got both buttons on, squibs on both sides. We got master warning, ECAM status, and we got pedestal fire 1, fire test 1 complete. Let's go fire test 2. Engine 2, squibs in, button lit up, master warning, ECAM status, and fire. Engine 2 on the pedestal. Good. Flight directors 1 and 2, they're both on. Barrel reference 1018 and cross-checked. EFI is set to constrained. Arc 2, 10. Arc 2, no. Arc 10. So constrain Arc 10, done. And FCU setup set, MCDU data set, MCDU setup. We have already set that up, but we're now going to set up the weights. So aircraft's been loaded. Let's go back down here to Phoenix. Mass and balance sent to MCDU, success, and now let's go prep our departure. So let's sync with the aircraft, sync with the weather, calculate. And we got V1 141. We got VR 1. What just happened? Oh, sorry about that. V1 141, VR 141, V2 142. And we're going to set flaps 1 down 04 and flex to temperature 70, and our transition will be 6,000, which is exactly our clearance altitude also. So we got nav update clearance, nav data updated, so let's go insert the data. So we got runway 26 Lima via Mint 1M. That's exactly what we need. Now let's go to performance and let's send this performance to our MCDU. 141, 141, 142, and we got flaps 1 down 04 and flex 70. Copy. Alright. So MCDU setup complete, RadNav setup complete, IFR clearance has been received, IRS align has been performed, flight plan has been reviewed, FE's nav aids as required, and squawk has been set 3720. Copy, preparation complete. Guys, if I'm going too fast, you can ask any questions. Let me center my track IR here. And we're still ahead of schedule, so we got 14 minutes to burn, but let's not keep you guys waiting. So let's, first of all, let's request the plane to be clear. So we switch this little button here and should be enough. There it goes. That click you heard was the external power being disconnected. Pre-start checklist, APU master switch is on, APU to set to start, MCDU weights has been inserted, MCDU takeoff performance have been checked, V speeds are set.
Hello, Captain, we are ready for pushback.
Copy that.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start.
Alright.
Until push is completed and brakes are set.
V speeds, V1 is 141, V2 141, VR 141 and V2 142. APU bleed set off, external power is off, seatbelt signs, as well as emergency and air conditioning set as required.
Completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Bypass pin inserted, copy, request push and start.
Wizzair 5775, gate 20, request pushback and engine start.
No beyond ATC connection, what just happened?
Locking gear.
I think beyond ATC it just crashed, stand by. I need to restart beyond ATC because it just crashed. Oh, that's not good. It's never good when anything crashes, but beyond ATC crashing will render all my flight inoperable. Let's hope we can get it back. Stand by. There it is, bling bling. And now she's gonna say beyond ATC connected. Let's see if she says that. Come on.
Beyond ATC.
There she is. We're just gonna need to wait here for the clearance. Now we need to request clearance again. So I'm gonna do it voice. So we need to go back to frequencies and call clearance. It's going to give me a different IFR clearance for sure. No voice. That was funky. So 3530. Now the squawk. Just no voice. 3530. Alright, so we got the same departure, runway 26 Lima. Let's just confirm that. 26 Lima via MIMF1 mic, that's it. Alright, so let's go back to perform. That was funky. I hope we still have voice. Ground, okay, let's see. Request push and start. No voice. Something's funky. Stand by. An error occurred contacting speech server cannot connect to destination host. Oh my. So beyond ATC is not good today. What am I going to do? Let's try again. Shut down. Try to reboot it. So there's something going on with beyond ATC not connecting. It's not on my side. Apologies. I'm trying to be as fast as I can. Here comes back ATC. Fly.
Beyond ATC connected.
So it's just restarted beyond ATC. Let's try to request clearance. Again. Come on, tune in 120060, alright. Do we have ATs?
Okay, temperature 0 3.
Now we got voice, alright. Let's go to clearance and request
Wizzair
IFR.
5775,
Alright.
ready for Airbus to London Airport.
Wizzair 5775, Gatwick delivery. Expect runway 26 left, and for 1 mic departure. Squawk 6522.
Coming for 1 leg departure. Squawk 6522, Wizzair 5775.
Alright.
Wizzair 5775, read but correct. Contact ground 121.805 when ready for push or stop.
Will contact ground 121.805 when ready for pushback or engine start. Wizzair 5775. Have a good evening, thanks.
Alright, so request push and
Wizzair
start.
5775, 820 request pushback and engine start.
Wizzair 5775, Gatwick ground pushback and engine start approved. Face east.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face east. Wizzair 5775.
Alright, we're gonna need to face east, but now it's GSX, it's not cooperating. Continue pushback. No icing treatment. Alright, facing east.
Release parking brakes.
Parking brake released.
Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push is completed and brakes are set.
Copy that. So we're not gonna start right now. Alright, looks like things are going to go our way now. So we are pushing but not starting just yet. Where are my wing walkers going? Guys, they just left. My wing walkers just left. Alright, as long as they continue pushing, alright? So beyond ATC, oh there, I was going to say it didn't load the traffic, but there it is. So we cannot start our plane until we come to a halt because of icing conditions, and that's gonna give us also, yep, we're gonna need engine anti-ice, and I'm gonna turn on my little ice detector there. I can barely see the light of it, just in case there's ice on the wings. We cannot see all the way. I mean, I can, but I'm sticking my head out of the window. So we have the little ice indicator to show us what's ice, if there's ice at all. So winds and doors are closed, cockpit doors are closed, fuel pumps are going to be on. Beacon is on, steering pin has been inserted, transponder set on. Parking brake is set. Alright, let's start engines. So, start on 1. And we're going to set our elapsed time on to run. So the IAE engines, they take a little longer to load than your regular CFM. They do go with the fuel flow. As soon as the fuel flow starts, you know it's starting, but it takes a moment for anything to come to life, especially N2. There it is. N2 would come to life at about 27% or something, 26, 27%. Very slow to start, as you can see, but it is starting. So these engines, they're a little slower to react, a little slower to start. The spooling takes a lot longer than what you're used to. So engine 1's available, start number 2. And we can call it in to say that we got a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect. Unlocking gear.
I would say these engines are a little more sluggish. Coffee break AMC. Yeah, they probably were. It was something weird because we just lost connection, and then coming back up, it was taking its sweet time to connect. And only on the third attempt did it really connect to the voice server. And remember, these are all AI, so it needs to connect to the server. There's our little dog. Oh, what are you doing?
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
It's about to hit us. Bypass pin removed, copy. So we got a company message. Let's take a look.
Easy 679 Yankee, Gatwick Ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face east.
Engine 2 has been started, so we can come back to normal.
Easy 679 Yankee.
So we got a load sheet. Yeah, look at that. All these load sheets. We need to ignore them. Alright, there's our pin. You can barely see the guy there. There he is. Alright, let's request taxi.
Wizzair 5775, taxi for departure.
Wizzair 5775.
See the
26 left taxi via
pre-departure
Juliet,
clearance was
Mike,
sent
Alpha
but
November
never
Alpha.
received.
Alright, we'll taxi to runway 26 left via Juliet, Mike, Alpha November, Alpha, Wizzair 5775.
Alright, so not
Wizzair
long.
5775, contact Gatwick Tower 124.23, bye-bye.
Contact Tower 124.23.
So we're already going to the tower, which is weird. Alright, so taxi checklist. Oh, first of all, let's complete the engineer bleed, engine master switch to off, and NTI set to engine 1 and 2. So, pushback and startup checklist. Now let's go for the taxi checklist. Before taxi checklist, that is. So before taxi checklist, auto brake set to max. Spoilers armed. Engine NTI set. Flight controls. Full deflection left. Neutral. Full deflection right. Neutral. Full pitch up. Neutral. Little sluggish this. Full deflection down. Neutral. Full rudder left. Neutral. Full rudder right. Neutral. Set trim. +4. Set. Rudder trim reset. And steering pin has been removed. Taxi checklist. Nose light set for taxi. Set. Runway turn off lights to on. Strobes set to auto. Parking brake off and takeoff config. Check. So pressing little button here. So there's perfectly normal because we haven't set the flaps yet. Alright, let's go. Parking brake off. Scared taxi. So taxi will be quite close to the runway because there's runway 26 right there, 26 Lima. So we're gonna go for M all the way down here. We should go to AN and A, but it's not, doesn't make sense to me. Just go straight. All right, let's take this off here to the left. So this is AN. Now we should be making this parallel here.
Easy 679 Yankee, holding short, runway 26 left.
Here. Oh, sorry, to the right. My bad, my bad.
Affirmative, hold short of
And now turn.
Easy 679 Yankee.
Cabin's ready. Set flaps for takeoff, flaps 1. And takeoff config test. until the flaps were en route. And let's hold here at the visual holding point for runway 26 Lima, right here. Alright, right here. Let's try again. And there it is, takeoff config normal. So, before takeoff checklist, cabin crew notified. External lights will be turning on when turning in. Nose wheel lights set for takeoff. NTIs as required. PAX as required. TCAS set for TA and above.
26 left, line up and wait.
Cabin's ready.
Line up and wait, runway 26 left, easy 679 Yankee.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Copy, thank you. Weather radar set to on. And predictive wind shear set to auto. Weather mode required. Takeoff memo no blue. Let's request departure.
Wizzair 5775, holding short, runway 26 left.
Wizzair 5775, number 1 for departure. Hold short of 26 left.
Roger, hold short of 26 left for traffic. Wizzair 5775.
So there's someone incoming. I can't see it, but
EG 679, Yankee Gatwick Tower. Wind 165 at tree, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
I
easy
don't see the
679 Yankee.
EasyJet. Where's the
Wizzair
EasyJet?
5775, runway 26 left, line up and
Oh,
wait.
there it is.
Line up and wait, runway 26 left. Wizzair 5775.
Line up and wait. Let's go. So the EasyJet lined up over there. That's why we didn't see it. It's just taking off now. It's actually airborne already. There it is. There it goes.
EG 679 Yankee, contact London, control 133.18.
Contact London, control 133.18, easy 679 Yankee.
Wizzair 5775 Gatwick Tower, wind 165 at tree, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for
Runway
takeoff.
26 left, cleared for takeoff. Wizzair 5775.
Rolling. Flex 70 SRS runway. Airspeed alive. $100. V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up.
Wizzair 5775, contact London, control 133.18.
Thrust set
Contact
lever.
London, control 133.18. Wizzair 5775. London control, Wizzair 5775. Good evening.
I am on
1,500
climb
feet.
autopilot on.
Wizzair 5775, London control, identified. Climb to flight level 180.
Climb to flight level 180, Wizzair 5775.
180. Set managed. Come on, set managed. It's not going on managed, but we are climbing. Speed check. Check flaps up. flaps up. Yeah, it was quite speedy, wasn't it, Richard? A320 compared to the A321, it doesn't look like much, but it is a lighter plane, so it's more like a sports car. And it's even more so with the 319. I really like flying the A319. So we're still running on anti-ice until we go cruise. At that point I'll turn it off. There doesn't appear to be condensation for the wings, so, and our little indicator there is still no ice noticed. After takeoff checklist, so let's go. Gear is retracted, flaps are retracted, spoilers disarmed, thrust set to climb, and autopilot as required, nose wheel lights and runway turn off lights to off. After takeoff checklist complete. Passing standard altitude, QNH set standard. Hello. And standard, and QNH set standard and cross-checked. Climb checklist, battle reference, set standard above, transition, set anti-ice as required, EFIS as required, weather radar is set, climb checklist above the line complete. Need to go to our departure chart here. So there's our little plane there, the yellow plane. Or orange. The other day someone said it's orange. Well, every plane is different. On the FS Labs, for example, there's no plane. And then you have planes like Inibil's is a blue plane, I believe, or magenta plane. It depends on the airline you're flying, on the add-on you're flying. So sorry if this looks like yellow to me. Passing 10,000 feet, external lights off. Wing lights, let's keep it on. The checklist clearly states to turn it off, but when you go outside and there's no light, it looks kind of bland, so I keep it on. And seatbelt signs as required. Let's turn them off for the pass. And now I'm going to turn off my track IR. So the reason why the wing lights should be kept on is because, oops, my bad. I pressed the wrong switch here. There it is, throttle to climb. I pressed the wrong switch here. Shouldn't happen. In order to move out of the gated climb, you need to physically move these, but in a personal computer, yeah, it's a sports car. It's like, I don't know, I think it was yesterday, PMDG released a 737-600, another sports car. It's a very agile plane because it's so small, but it has the same engines as its bigger counterparts. And it's so fun to fly these smaller planes. You should try, Richard, you should try the A319 with winglets. There are not many planes out there with winglets, with the 319 I mean. 370 as flag. And what happened with the 319 with winglets is that they inserted the most potent engines on it. So it's got the CFM V3 or something like that. Don't quote me on that. What matters is that you have a super high-powered A319 that was built to fly in high altitudes. And so it's super agile, super fast. I would say it's pretty much as fast as a Neo, which is amazing for a 319. You should try it if you have the package, Richard. It's a really amazing aircraft, really speedy and responsive, and it's a really cool one. Unfortunately, there aren't many 319s with winglets in the world right now.
London Control, EZ61 Golf Hotel, good evening, flight level 252.
Guys, if you wanna explain, well, if you still have it, you probably have the TOLIS. I don't think the TOLIS ever made the 319 with winglets, but if you have the Fenix does have the 319 with winglets. They're mainly operated by Chinese airlines, and let me tell you, it's great fun to fly it. I don't fly it very much here because I don't fly Asian airlines because I don't fly Asian destinations, but I might make an excuse to try it out because it's really fun to fly it. It's like when I first flew the 321 Neo. Just the speed that it cruises, well, not the cruise speed because you don't really see the difference. There is a higher cruise speed, but what I mean is the climb speed. The climb speed on the Neos is amazing because there's 30% more thrust in there or something like that. And the plane is like a rocket. It just flies and wants to stay up there, and it's really amazing. Now imagine that, but a little pocket rocket, the 319. The engines are not as powerful. They're smaller in diameter, but they're very powerful for the size of the plane. It's really cool. Alright, so we are coming up on high altitudes. I'm going to turn off the engine NTI switch. Should also turn off the ignition. There it is. So the ignition will stay on during icing conditions to help dissipate ice inside the engine. But at some point, if you do have ice, and when we don't have condensation, so if there's condensation, you should leave it on until you clear clouds, so where the air becomes drier. But it's not the case today. We don't have any clouds at all in London. So we're just going to turn it off now, because there's a danger if the anti-ice is working on an engine nacelles, it might dislodge a big chunk of ice and that would damage the engine. So yeah, TOLIS is very well known for X-Plane. They're pretty much like the only developer I know that are really good at what they do. There used to be also that company called Flight Factor. I used to love to fly their 757s. It was pretty much one of the planes I flew the most on X-Plane. And cool, but I think TOLIS is a little bit heavy. And, whoa, too low now. Oh, that's good. And TOLIS has a real attitude problem when it comes to dealing with customers. That's, as far as I know, I've not dealt with them anyway. Yeah, you can buy the package. It's an add-on, both the 319 and the 321. The base package is just this one, just a 320. And you got both the wingtip fences or the sharklets like this one. Let me just move my camera a little bit so that we can see it better. So this is the 320 with sharklets. You also have the 320 with wingtip fences. And you also have the 320 with the IAE engines, so like this one, or the CFM engines. So you got a lot of planes for the price of one. But if you want to enlarge your experience, you could get the 319, 321 package, and you get the small Airbus as well as the long Airbus CEOs. And let me tell you, until someone else makes CEOs correctly, these are the planes to fly if you want to fly CEOs. As for Neos, I'm still waiting for those Neos the Fenix is developing. There will be a number of my day one purchase for sure, but we're still waiting. They said it should come to the end of last year. They missed that schedule. They said they couldn't deliver in time, so they told us to wait a little bit, but it's been more than a month now, so not sure what's going on there. So right now we're still flying over London airspace. So you can see where it ends right there. The blue line is our route. So we'll be crossing Northern Europe all the way down to Prague. Next airspace, I believe, would be Holland, Amsterdam. Which airspace is this? I believe this is Holland airspace or Amsterdam airspace. We are going through this gate, this tunnel here, which is quite fun to see, because these are no-fly zones, so these are probably training areas, so they're very restricted. This one right here, you cannot fly below flight level 195, so we have just been cleared to go over it. And we need to stay within this lane here. You can see the shape of a corridor, and to both sides there are no-fly zones. So we are avoiding all of these. So our routes will take that and come they will account for that when you're flying with when you're building your route with Simbrief. So it's pretty cool to see that. Let's zoom out to see. So this is probably, yeah, it's not really France here. Trying to figure out what ATC is this one. So this is France. And Brussels, alright, so this is Brussels airspace. It will be flying right in the border with Paris airspace, Paris ATC. Still on Brussels. Still Brussels. And then we'll cross to still Brussels here. What's the other one? It always says Brussels. Is it no man's land? Come on. Probably Germany, right? And then all the way down to through Germany to the Czechia, formerly known as Czech Republic. Yeah, but I think this is Germany. It's Belgium, then Germany, or at least part of it is Germany. And then yeah, it's Langen, it's Germany, and then where are we going? So this is yet another airspace. Trying to figure out which airspace is this. So still Langen. Yeah, I know it's Langen. Langen is Germany. What's the other one? Let's go to the border here. Oh, Munich. So it's still Germany then. So Langen, then Munich, and then Czechia. Or Czech Republic for old-fashioned guys like me. Alright. Have you been flying lately, Richard? So this is a little weird. We shouldn't have gone to Paris because we're right on the boundary. You guys can see that. So this is Brussels, this is France. Yes, we're skimming the frontier, but it's still Belgium. It's still Brussels control. So I don't know why we're in Paris control. Maybe the boundary goes you know, like shared boundary, something like that. Yeah, you see now it's telling us to contact Brussels. It could be the case where we're crossing the boundary and we might get clearance to shortly to another airspace, but it's definitely above French airspace. But since we're right in the border of it, I'm gonna ignore that. Yeah, it does happen sometimes. Beyond ATC, remember, it's AI, and until they use quantum computers for AI, it's still gonna make issues. It's still not gonna have issues. Still gonna make mistakes. Oh, nice. So the C-32 is the military 757, right? Right? What's the C-40? It's a Clipper, isn't it? 737, the C-40, yeah. So C-32 is the 757, C-40 is the 737, correct? There's something going on here, not sure. So why is it not going to manage speed here? It's really weird. What the heck is going on? I'm on climb? Climb thrust? Let me re-enter the climb mode. Right. We're on climb, so why can I go to manage speed? Let me confirm something here. Flight level 370, direct to cock. KOK. Nice. But, and this is where we at. Let's try turn off and back on. Not sure what's going on here, to be honest. Never seen this happening. So pushing in, nothing. Pushing out, nothing. Pulling out, I mean. It's nothing serious, but you should be on climb. Let me try to go to flex, MCT or toga, and back to climb. Speed is boxed, but it's not speed that we want. We want managed speed. First time I've seen this, to be honest. I've never had this happen. Maybe it happened when I accidentally turned off the auto throttle back a few moments ago. Oh yeah, I saw that on YouTube. Yeah, Richard, the C40s They do come around quite often. The U.S. Navy one and the U.S. Air Force. I think they're both Navy, aren't they? They do come by sometimes. Yeah, I'm not getting managed speed, but let's go to Mach point 8.
Turn left heading 000, Transavia 76 Mike. Transavia 76 Mike, turn right heading 030, intercept the 06 localizer. Turn right heading 030, intercept the 06 localizer, Transavia 76 Mike. Transavia 76 Mike, descend to 4,800 feet, QNH 1019.
So we're getting a little tailwind. We got 70 knots, that's good. That's going to push us a little bit faster. And we are getting Mach point 8, which is very optimal for the A320. It's giving us some very cool ground speed of 502 knots. Look at that. No, there is no discontinuity. It's really weird because look at that. All my speeds and altitudes are off. And there's really nothing I can do. So I'm going to set... Oh, hold on. Cost index. Oh my god. That's why it wasn't working. You know, this is what happens when you fly different planes. So the cost index is automatically inserted on other planes, but not on this plane. So cost index is 5. That's why it's not going to manage speed. What's going to manage is there are no calculations. In the meantime, we'll also get the WZZZ 5775. So WZZ 5775. All right. My bad. We also didn't request the winds. We were all over the place. Now if I press it, it should go to manage. There it is. And with this cost index, of course, it's going to decelerate to something lower. Alright. Yeah. This is what happens when you fly different planes. So between the FS Labs and the Fenix, there are some minor differences, but these can be very significant. First of all, the cost index is not automatically inserted. You need to manually insert it. I believe the the cruise level is also not inserted manually, automatically. But since you add it here, it will continuously update the new flight level. So maybe that's what happened. And of course the flight number, which isn't really relevant, but it is important for data link. And I wonder if that's why the AOC menu wasn't working correctly earlier. Oh well. So we got WizOps telling us something. No ADC required. No wonder, man. We departed about 10 minutes earlier. So yeah, crisis averted. We got managed speed again, which is always good to fly at these levels with the managed speed and not trying to make our own calculations, because that would mess our cost index quite a lot, which would mess with our expected fuel on board. So right now, our expected fuel on board is 2.8. This will change according to the wind and all that, but still, you don't want to reach as low as 2.8 on your destination, because that might not be enough for all the contingencies. You can see here on your flight plan what the contingencies are, so you can see it right here, planned fuel. So you got the trip fuel. We only need 3,000 kilograms of fuel for 118 minutes, but there's all these contingencies to take care of. So there's a 5% contingency, this is mandatory, which is 155 kilograms of fuel. Then you have the alternate, so this is 1,583 kilograms of fuel to go to the alternate, 45 minutes. And you also have the FinRes, which is the reserve fuel, which should always be 30 minutes. So the minimum takeoff fuel for this plane for this specific trip is 5,793 kilograms, but you still have to account for taxi fuel right here. So 230 kilograms of fuel just for taxiing, and then you reach what is estimated as the block fuel, 6,000 kilograms of block fuel. That's what we loaded. And then you have all these extras. So there's a pilot in command extra and total fuel. So you might want to take a little bit more. I'm not sure if what reasons the pilots would have to have a little extra fuel, but sometimes pilots don't feel comfortable and it's just too short a field for the trip. So they'll add some extra and then account that right down here with the extra fuel, and then they will have to explain why they want that much extra fuel. At least on this form, right? Because not all airlines work with this. This is the Lido format, but there are multiple formats. As inclusively, there's one for EasyJet. EasyJet have their own form. Not all airlines will have their forms in Simbrief, but all airlines will have their own form in real life. So in Simbrief you can choose a lot of them. I choose the Lido because it's what my SOPs also follow. And I also, if I have trouble reading this, you can imagine if they change the parameters from place to place. That will be a mess. Last time I changed that, I was quite confused, so I came back to Lido. I cannot be bothered with that. The flight plan is quite extensive. It's not just this. This is just like the summary of the flight. Then you have the routing, which includes the active route, which is just a small page, but you have the active routing and the impacts. So like speed change, cost indexes and all that, all for your operation. Then you got the times and weights. So everything related to predicted weight. Remember, this is not final weight. There could be changes. Some add-ons simulate passenger no-show, so this is just preliminary, and then you have to confirm with the aircraft's own weight. If, for example, a couple of passengers don't show up, your weights will be different. By the way, every passenger on every airplane around the world, no matter who they are, every passenger will always weigh 80 kilograms. You might weight more, you might weight less, but for the airline it doesn't matter. You always weigh 80 kilograms. So you can think that 160 kilograms, two passengers are no show. 160 kilograms may not be that much, but it could be enough to move a couple of passengers because of CG, for example. So center of gravity. Then we got a flight log, which details every single waypoint you're going to cross. It might be interesting for you. Let's say you really need to confirm this is Z35 waypoint position. You got it right here, the GPS position, as well as the altitude, speeds, and expected time of interception. We got wind information. This is just a snapshot. Remember, the winds and meteo is always changing. So this is just a snapshot when the flight plane was created, giving you the altitudes and wind speeds at those altitudes. You can check right here. So currently we're at flight level 370 at point Remba, and you can see that we are at 68 knots. And let's check it out. So 370 right here. So 370, yeah, it's 61, minus 61. So it's heading 317 at 61, 322 at 68. So you see, this is just a snapshot, so it's a little outdated. We can take a look here at Remba. Do we have Remba? No, it's oh, there it is, 370. Yeah, it's a little off, but no, not by much. And then you got the ATC flight plan. This is just a compact version of your ECOW flight plan. We got initial info. clearly not interesting. Runway analysis on both departure and arrival, as well as alternate. So it's important to realize if the alternate, for example, is not as long as the destination or the other way around, you might need to deviate. You need all this information for your planning. We got the weather for each airport, so we got Gatwick, Roseanne, or our destination, and Berlin Brandenburg, which today is alternate, which is quite weird if our alternate is back in Germany, but okay. We got NOTAMs. It's really interesting to read these, but these are not affecting your flight whatsoever in Flight Simulator. So for example, at Gatwick, we got taxiway Quebec north of taxiway Quebec Bravo downgraded to code C, aircraft only. This is not affecting us because sometimes this is like refurbishment or a change, a really temporary change. This is not reflected on real life. Sorry, on flight simulation. It's only on real life. We got company NOTAM, so this is simulating an alert from our airline. Again, just simulated. Then we got the NOTAMs for the route. As you can see, it's got the weather charts. So these are the world famous FARPs, and on the previous slide I was trying to show you guys all this, but it was so small you couldn't see much. This is for flight level 300. As you can see, the FARPs are predominantly coming in from the north, and as you go up, 340 and 390. They're not going to give you all the flight levels, of course. And this is our flight profile and the predominant winds during our flight, which is pretty handy, as well as the ground terrain avoidance altitudes. Too small to be relevant, but at least it tells you that you're going to depart a somehow flat area, and then you're going to pass a couple of mountains and all that. So all this can be helpful to make me understand that if I have an incident while descending, if I have an incident, I need to be clear of these mountains. And of course the weather charts in terms of clouds and repeating. All these are repeated from the company note. Actually, this is misplaced. Yeah. So this is not a bug, but this is a wrong feature. So this should be cut from here down and then go to the weather chart section. So this is just a little bug, nothing serious. Of course, you can also use on some add-ons, not this one I believe, you can also use the weather features here. Yeah, this one doesn't have the weather feature, but sometimes, for example, on the FS Labs one, you do have the projection of weather in your on-route map, which is quite handy. You can see the actual radar information, which is supplied by Gibson or Navigraph. And if you have the Navigraph subscription and you got a cell phone or a tablet, you can install there and have flight following, and you can actually see all that data. It's not available here right now. You can have all that on that app on the phone or on a tablet, which is quite handy. So we're going to Roseanne, and this is not the main airport. As far as I know, it's not the main airport for Prague. There's also the Chopin airport, and I picked this one. No, then you must be the guy to talk to, Richard, because some of the stuff that goes on the flight plan and all the data that's going in there, it could be quite obscure to some people. The fuel is, the fuel is, I just explained what the fuel does. It's really not that hard to understand. This part here, You do have the distances. I mean, this is self-explanatory. Average wind, so we got the average predominant winds. I mean, it's the ISA deviation, fuel bias, so it's we got a positive 3.0 fuel bias. By the way, the FS Labs, you should be using a modified 8 bias according to Flight Sim Labs themselves. We're making a nice little turn. But all the other ones, well, they could be quite confusing. But then if you take a good look at what the explanation are for each and one of them, it's really straightforward. Alright, let's prep our destination information. Let's check out our meter for our arrival. Let's make sure it's updated. So let's take a look. 2330 Zulu. Alright, so it's 20 minutes old. We got wind 340 at 11 knots, not bad. We got good KVOC conditions for visibility. Broken clouds we have broken at 2100 and overcast at 2600. And we got -0 temperature, -04 dew point, QNH 1012, no significant change. Alright, this is good to know. Let's just confirm the alternate here real quick. So this is for Berlin, just in case we need to come back. We got overcast and pretty much the same weather, so not much better in Berlin anyway. So let's insert this data, and the way I do it is I pull this from our Simbrief dispatch. You guys know the drill. So we are Langdon, that's Germany, Eastern Germany, Western Germany, sorry. So weather at Prague is, yeah, it's confirmed, it's the same weather right here. So let's go to our performance here, next phase, and there it is, QNH 1012. We got temperature -1, so I don't recall if I can do this. Can I? Yeah, we can. And we got, this is the magnetic wind that we got from the winds aloft information, but we can update it with more precise wind. So currently it's 340 at 11 knots. So we got to transition at 5,500, and now we're going to land at config flaps 3, and we're going to set our barrel reference for the ILS approach. But before that, we're going to fill in our flight plan so we can have a proper approach. So we're going to set up the arrival, and we're going to come here to our view. So we're going to come here to our flight plan, and we're expecting log 8 Tango for runway 06. So ILS 06, log 8 Tango. Now let's look at the chart for this particular approach to see if there's any transitions, significant, oh sorry, my bad, significant transitions. So there's a Lomkey 8 Tango. So we're coming up on Lomkey, just need to figure out which one is 8 Tangos right there. So we're going to Barracks. So let's see if we do have that. Yeah, there it is, Barracks. Alright, so, and we're done, and temporary insert, and there it is. And now the calculations are performed, and as you can see now, with all the complete flight plan in, we still got 2.9. That's below what we would like to see. It was always around 3 tons of fuel on the expected fuel on arrival, or expected fuel on board on Prague. sorry about that. I had to go deal with a crisis here. So the flight plan has been inserted, but as I was saying, you always expect when the full flight plan has been inserted, you should always have like 3 tons here. So it's 2.9, not too bad. If the plane detects that it's too low to go to the alternate, you'll start seeing, well, we'll see EFOB warning. There's another company message, let's check it out. Received messages. And oh, it's only the previous load sheet. So there's a lot of load sheets because as you remember, I had to reload the GSX and reload the passengers more than once. So it does happen. By the way, we passed the ETP, so that's the equal time point. I've explained this more than once. That's the point where it's, until that point is reached, it's preferable to go back, just in case if you need to go back. If you need to land ASAP, it's preferable to go back. If you pass the ETP point, it's preferable to go forth because of distances. So it's closer to go back to the origin until we reach the ETP, or it's closer to go to the destination past the ETP. This is of course more important when you're flying over areas without any airports available, like flying over oceans. So let's say we're going to fly here all the way to the Azores. There's no airports in between Lisbon or in between the mainland and the Azores, so it's preferable to go back until you reach the ETP if there's a problem on board, or it's preferable to go forth to the destination if you pass the ETP if there's a problem on board. Case in point, if you have like an emergency, like a medical emergency on board, and you're just mid-ocean flying towards, let's say, the US on long-haul flights, there's no destination, there's no airports between mainland Europe and the United States, although it's flying over the ocean. But you do have Iceland and Greenland as alternates, but sometimes airlines don't have like protocol to fly planes over there. I mean, you do have ETOPS certification, and you do have to account if there's an emergency, an immediate emergency to land, then you do have to go to those airports. But you might, if it's a medical emergency and the person is stable, but you do need to land ASAP, ETP comes and helps you make a decision, either come back or go forth. And it has happened. I've seen it happen. I mean, it's not that regular, not a frequent event, but it does happen. It does happen, and that's why the ETP is there, to help make a decision, help pilots make a decision. And when I say make pilots, plural, make a decision, that's because it is really a crew. It's not like captains are not monoliths. The captain does make a decision, but there's a reason there's 2 people on board. Decisions must be made as a team. Richard, thank you so much for your support, man. Really appreciate it. But you're family, man. You're my friend. You don't need to do that. I thank you so much because it does help the channel quite a lot. But yeah, thank you, and thank everybody that has contributed. From the top of my head, I can remember beyond Richard, of course, Andrew has also been a good contributor, Mersha, Jose as well. I mean, there's been a lot of people helping me, and it's cool. Again, if you guys want to contribute, you got the Buy Me a Coffee link on the description. You also have it pinned on the chat here on the live stream, and occasionally you will see a QR code popping up on your upper right screen. That's for the Buy Me a Coffee. So one more time, Richard, thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. And guess who appreciates us as well? Betsy. Betsy likes to drink coffee with your donations, Richard. She's not very talkative, but she is appreciative. So we're coming up on our top of descent. It's been not that long of a flight anyway. Thank you, Richard, one more time. When I started flying flight simulation long time ago, I met a few pilots with my professional occupation. I got to meet a lot of pilots, and I was a Boeing fan. I still like Boeing, but I was a huge Boeing fan, mainly because there weren't many simulations for Airbuses on Flight Simulator. There was one PSS A320. That was it. That's the one I knew for Flight Simulator 2024, so 2004. And then FSX came along, and then more add-ons started showing up. But until then, there was just one PSS A320, and there were very good 737 simulators, such as my whole-time favorite Dream Fleet 737-400 is the plane I have the most flight hours on. And then came along someone called PMDG. So 737 was well represented in flight simulation. So that was my contact with flight simulation. But of course, I met a lot of pilots. Black box. It does ring a bell. I don't remember it, but I don't think I had it, but I do. A lot of people talked about it. It's like an ATC simulator, right? I don't remember. Sorry if that's not the case. But enlighten me, Richard. The name rings a bell, but I don't think I had contact with it. Anyway, all these pilots I've met throughout my professional life were all Airbus pilots, of course, because the company here in Portugal, TAP Portugal, only flies Airbuses for a long time. Back then it was the 310, the 320, the early 320, and later on came the 340, and then they phased out the L1011, my favorite plane, next to the A350. And I always talk to them and say, hey man, you don't have a yoke there. You have a side stick that looks like a joystick, looks like you're playing games with the plane. You just press the button to go up, press the button to go down. Always making fun of them. And then one day they took me to the cockpit. I had to fly, and they took me to the cockpit and they show you want to see what's the best thing on Airbus ever? And I say, yeah, sure. You want to see? You're sure? You're never going to come back from Airbus if we see this. And I say, yeah, sure, man. I just did this. Do this on the 737. And I was like, yeah, it does look handy, doesn't it? The table. I mean, you can do everything. You can place your laptop here and write stuff. You can put a book here. You can have your meal there. That's something that no 737 captain or co-pilot could ever do, because they have the freaking yoke right here. They don't have any room. They have to pull their chair back and put their food on their lap, or some airlines have special platforms to put on the legs.
Contact Zurich rate are 126.225 Egypt here, 780.
So yeah, and they always said once you go Airbus you never come back, and I guess they were right. Yeah, I never touched them then, Richard. I only touched the PSS. If you Google it, you might still find some images. It was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't as deep as these more recent simulations are, but they were quite decent. Let's prep our plane for descent. And I flew a lot of hours on the PSS A320. So let's just confirm that our weather hasn't changed that much. So I come back here to WX, populate, and come back down here. So it's still modified VFR. Let's go here for performance page. And QNH 1013, so this chain 1013. It's always good to update these data as best as you can. Now it's -2. And we got pretty much 330 at 11, so just 10 degrees change. 330 at 11. Let's set our barrel reference, so let's take a good look at our ILS runway 06. Decision height is 1,402. So 1,402 on the barrel. It's quite high, but there's an explanation for that. I'll show you in a moment. So this is the approach for runway 06, the usual approach, Lomkey, either the 8 Tango or the 8 Sierra. Now, if you take a good look here, you will see, actually this is not the best one. Let me see if I can figure out what I'm trying to say here. So there's a briefing here somewhere, or maybe it's on the approach. Stand by. Is it the RNP? Oh, what the heck. Alright. No, the RNP doesn't have it. So it's probably on the Lido charts. Doesn't matter. What matters is, with this approach here, you got a very strict approach phase here, that you should never go below 4,000 feet. Where is that written anywhere? This should be written here somewhere. Well, you have here 3,600 feet and 4,000 feet as minimum. So why is that? Because this is a mountainous area. Alright, so you should never go below 3,600 feet on the approach to the airfield on the northern hemisphere. And then there's a 4,000, so this is higher minimum altitude. And this is just around the airport area. But as you can see here, there's a top here at 3,400. You can see it here. This is a top, a peak, mountain peak. And all these are mountains. And you can see here there's a restriction for 5,000 feet, 5,000 feet, 5,000 feet, and then 4,000 feet. And you should never go below 10,000, at least on this approach. If you do need to come down here, there's a 5,000 feet restriction, then the 4,000 feet restriction. Why is that? Well, number one, this airport altitude is on altitude, so it's a little high. It's the runway is at 1,000. Let me zoom in for you. 1,200 feet, and the approach will be a 3-degree down angle, or if the localizer descent angle is 3.05. Yeah, you remember the PSS? It was pretty good, and they also had a 757. I used to fly it a lot. Really cool company. They disappeared completely. So why is this an issue? Why is this a factor? Why does it say that on barracks it should be at 4,000 feet and then only descend out of 4,000 feet when you're in the runway, when you're intercepting the localizer? Well, recently we had an incident with a TAP Portugal airplane, actually, a Portuguese airplane coming into Prague. And it's hard to say what happened really, but it appears that... Aren't we being cleared to descend yet, just yet? We are 10 nautical miles from our descent. We already have our little passenger seat signs on. Let's call ready for descent. Well, different approach. So ILS 06 and... Oh, it's the same, alright. So let's go for flight level 210. My bad, I thought it was a different one. That's why you should always confirm. And managed descent now, finally managed. That's because it wasn't, we didn't have the cost index inserted. Alright. Descent checklist, CDU landing performance. So we already know it's runway 6. I'll come back to the TAP Portugal story in a moment. So runway 6, apply the METAR 1008, and we're gonna go for medium. Now let's go low brake, idle. Let's go max reverse. Let's go manual land, flaps config flaps 3, and all the throttle on. Our landing weight should be, so it's going to be plus 2.9 at our initial data. So it's 0.29, it should be, 0.29 should be something like, 60, alright. So 60 tons landing weight. Come on. Why can't I move my camera now? 60. Oh my god. 60, enter. Alright, here we go. When the keypad is visible, you can no longer move your camera. Alright, our landing distance should be factored. I think this is factored. It should be 2,247. Well, there it is. It's 2,247 meters of landing distance, and we're going to have a landing coefficient of 6 knots nose and 14 from the left, because we do have a wind coming of 15 knots out of 360, so pure north. Alright, so landing data reviewed. We're gonna have engine anti-ice because it's below freezing, and we are probably gonna turn on the wing anti-ice as well, because we're gonna have condensation on the approach, but we shall see. Alright, seatbelt signs are on, and we are the descent checklist. The PSS as well, huh, Richard? Really cool to know. It's not just me. Descent checklist above the line complete. So coming back to that TAP Portugal flight to Prague, apparently the TAP Portugal flight went below those 4,000 feet limitation. That's a very strict limitation on the chart, and as you saw, the ILS must be performed at 4,000 feet, so there's no excuse to go below 4,000 whatsoever. For some reason the TAP Portugal flight went below that, and according to the authorities and the news, TAP Portugal flight came as close as like 300 feet from the ground. They eventually did have like a ground proximity warning system, so the terrain pulled up, and from that they reacted, and then I believe the plane came like 180 feet from the ground, something crazy like that, maybe more, maybe less, doesn't matter. What matters is that it should never be on that altitude anyway, because there are mountains up ahead here. You can't see them because of the clouds, and probably that's why they went below that anyway. They couldn't see them as well. But there's a reason why we have this little button here. So this is the terrain on ND indicator. And of course we got the GPWS, and this will turn red if any of this terrain data is coming towards our plane, or we are coming towards it. And according to the news, so take that with a grain of salt, the ATC did not order TAP Portugal to descend, but they descended anyway below the assigned altitude, and the ATC found out they were below the assigned altitude, and they called them in and told, no guys, you need to climb, and their reaction prevented what could be a tragedy. This is where I don't buy it. There are two pilots on board. Either one was distracted and the other one saw the crap being made and took a decision, which is unlikely in the descent phase. Why would someone leave the cockpit in the descent phase? Doesn't make sense to me. So let's assume they're still there. Two pilots looking at their instruments, looking at their charts. They will definitely see that they have a restriction and a necessity to cross the ILS approach at 4,000 feet. Would they consciously descend the plane below? I don't think so. This is my opinion. However, what could have happened, and I'm not seeing that on the news because the news people don't care for facts, so they won't ever publish that. What did the ATC clear the plane to do? Did they tell the plane clear for whatever approach, descend to, approach some altitude? It's hard to say until there's a final report about it. It's all speculating. Unfortunately, the news are all speculating. It appears that in Czechia, this news is like TAP Portugal are rogue maverick pilots trying to go below the assigned altitude. Again, I don't buy that. I think it's a mixed responsibility. The first responsibility is from the ATC giving clear instructions. Never tell an aircraft to descend for the ILS approach or whatever. Then there's the other side of the responsibility, which is the pilots. They should have looked at their charts, and as you saw there, it doesn't take that long to look at charts and just come here. Information is there, you need to look for it, especially if you don't know the airfield. There it is, 4,000 feet, up until this point right here at DME 8.8, that's when you start descending. There's no descending before that. So if the pilots did descend without clearance, that's a big no-no, and they need to, these pilots, they need to be called to the attention. I don't think that's what happened. I think there was probably misunderstanding, like saying after barracks descend to whatever, and or after a certain waypoint. I don't know where exactly this happened. It happened between barracks and the descent. The descent for the ILS. We see right now they're telling us to descend to 100, so flight level 100. It could have happened something like that, like TAP Portugal, whatever, descend to. I don't even think they gave it like a descent altitude, they might have told them after barracks continue descent to ILS approach. They might have been like 6,000 feet, so they carried on descending until the ILS approach, which often is at 2,500 or 3,000 feet, something like that. And that's probably just a misunderstanding, but it could have cost people's lives, you know. So this is my understanding. Poorly interpreted ILS clearance and or a misunderstanding of ATC clearance to descend after a certain waypoint, and they thought they were talking about this waypoint or that waypoint right there, PR 742, something like that, and the pilots just interpret, all right, then we can descend. They're trusting ATC, but as you can see here on the altitude clearances, it's 3,600 north, so they went below that. That's the minimum altitude they should go. And even the missed approach, you can see here, even the missed approach will tell you to climb to 4,000. So there's nothing in this chart that can tell you that it can descend below that. I found it very hard to believe that two professional pilots, even if one was a rookie, there's always a captain on board, and the captain is definitely never a rookie. There might even be reinforced crew, who knows. What matters is there's nothing in this chart, or even the approach chart right here. There's nothing on these charts that tells you to descend anything below 4,000. You got 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, and then 4,000. There's nothing below that, and you should never go below that. And you're inside the airfield circle when this is done. All right, we're going to Prague approach. Let's make it louder. So guys, yeah, that tapped flight going below minimum altitude in Prague was really serious. Let's hope they don't just classify it as pilot error and give these pilots some rough time. They did prevent the accident, so a possible accident. No one knows what would happen. But yeah, going down below the minimum assigned altitude at mountainous areas, you might not want to imagine what would happen. So I think I moved the gain out of calibrated. Alright, so the tilt is alright. This is not simulated, but as you can see, it was enough to hide the weather from me. There's no significant turbulence anyway, so let's see if we can make a positive landing on Prague. So what happened? Once they understood that they were about, well, they didn't understand they were about to crash, but once they understood they were below the assigned altitude, either by the ATC telling them, which I don't believe that happened, but especially by the GPWS shining on them, saying that they were terrain, pull hub, maybe terrain ahead, and then terrain, pull hub. When that happens, the pilots reacted, and even if they came close to the ground, like 180 feet, like I think I've read that, they still managed to climb out and avoid the incident. So they did make a 360 turn to the left. They circled to the left, they did something like this. Maybe to assess the situation, maybe to understand what happened. Maybe they were, instead of being on managed descent like I am right here, maybe they were on manual descent, so they did something like this. They pressed this button and they started descending at a specific rate and didn't notice that, and then the plane started continuing on their descent, and they didn't realize that. If that's the case, then no one was paying attention to the MCP, and I don't know what's worse, to be honest. Let's go back to managed descent. So we are on the first leg of our star. Loki 8 Tango for runway 06 left. 06, sorry. So let's go to Rosine. Rosine radar.
5775. Rosine radar, Wizzair 5775. Good evening, flight level 120, we have Oscar.
Wizzair 5775, Rosine radar, QNH 1013, expect the ILS runway 06 with the barracks transition.
QNH 1013, expect the ILS runway 06 with the barracks transition. Wizzair 5775.
Wizzair 5775, descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1013.
Descend to 5,000 feet, QNH 1013, Wizzair 5775.
So you see, they clear me for 5,000, never below that. And then after that, there's a constraint right here. You can see the magenta circles. Those are constraints. The plane will never go below that. Even if you, like right here, if you select 1,000 feet, it will never go below that, because that's a constraint. You can override that, which apparently that's what the TAP flight did. Yeah, I flew a couple of times. I'm not a frequent flyer to Prague, to be honest. So we're surfing the clouds now. We're going in the soup in the moment. Not really soup. There's some mild turbulence apparently, but nothing too serious. Our tailwind has come from 60 to 70 knots, and now it's just 8 knots. So we got our first speed constraint back to 250 when we cross 10,000 feet, and as we do, we turn on our landing lights. Check the checklist below 10,000 feet. Seatbelt sights are on, landing lights are on, and wing lights are on. Descent checklist complete, below the line. Alright, let's switch to the landing checklist. So we go through our memory items for the landing checklist just now. So we're going to set our ND terrain is already on. We're going to stand our gear, of course. External lights set to on. Nose wheel steering lights set to takeoff. Auto brakes set. Spoilers armed. Flaps to landing, and landing memory blue. See? Cross barracks at or above 4,000 feet and clear for the ILS. So never below 4,000 whatsoever. So it's kind of hard to understand what happened that day with TAP Portugal flight. So got our terrain mode on here so we can see around the plane what type of terrain we will find. So far it's faint green, and that's good. If you're below the assigned terrain and the minimum altitude, you just might start seeing that thing turning into yellow and red and magenta. That's pretty bad when that happens. So we're in the clouds right now, in the soup. We are clear for the ILS, so we can turn on our landing system right here. And we are still descending. We're a bit slightly above the desired managed descent rate, but it's okay. We can pull our manual descent and give it a little more of a rate here, maybe 1,800. So we might be slightly exceeding our maximum speed, so we'll extend speed brakes to help the plane recover. There it is. We're pretty much on the localizer, so we can activate our approach phase. We're below the glide slope, so that's good. So we're coming in blind, almost. As expected, we got wind coefficient from the left. That goes our standard altitude, 1008. And we're going to do the same on the right side. 1008. We got some ground lights. So we reduce our approach to reach that 4,000 feet. And there we are. Our speed is reducing for the VAP, which is 138. Let's go back here to performance. It's 138, sorry. 138 VAP. Speed check, flaps 1. So we are cleared for the ILS, not cleared to land yet, but cleared for the ILS, good enough. And we are maintaining 4,000, just like I said before, until we intercept the glide slope. There's our runway right there. Bit hard to see, but there it is. So let's go for let's set our auto brakes to low. Runway should be dry. Oh, let's speed brakes were still in, sorry.
Contact tower 134.56 was a 5775, bye-bye. Buzzing tower was a 5775, ILS runway 06.
Was a 5775, Buzzing tower, wind 325 at 11 runway 06, cleared to land.
Runway 06 cleared to land, was a 5775.
Cleared to land. So let's go flaps 2. There goes our speed going down. And gear down.
2,500.
2,500, check. Still ways off, but I need to decel, so I'm extending my gear to help me decelerate. Speed check, flaps 3. Landing memo. Oh, forgot. Landing memo, no blue. Alright, landing checklist. If it's as required, I need terrain on right MFD, external lights set to all. Set. Spoilers are arm, flaps set to landing, landing memo no blue, and auto brakes set. Landing checklist complete. There we go. So we got a slight wind coefficient from the left as predicted. The weather cleared quite a bit. That haze you're seeing from my nose is the landing lights effect. There's some traffic on my right side, I don't see it. No, there was no traffic. I was looking down at that 06 down there. It's just the ILS indicator. My bad. As you can see, only now we're coming out of 2,000 feet. It's still
1,000.
1,000 check. Alright, autopilot off. So we got glide slope localizer right on the money, right on the diamonds. Making some small
500.
corrections. 500 check.
$400.
Little low.
100 above.
Check.
300. Minimum.
Continue. Little high.
200.
Light slow.
Yep, I know.
Light slow.
I know.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. Drive.
Nice. A little rough, but I've done worse. Reverse. Brakes applied. Auto brakes, I mean. Let's not rush the exit. Reverse off.
Wizzair 5775, exit next available taxiway.
Auto brakes off.
Exit next available taxiway. Wizzair 5775.
So I'm going to turn to next right. A bit rough, Richard, but yeah, nice. Start APU. This, yeah, we didn't turn on the engine NTIs, but we will do it right now. My bad, I said, I read the checklist, NTI says required, and just ignored it. APU turning on. Let's clear flaps. Run the exit procedures.
Wizzair 5775, contact ground 121.901.
Ground 121.901 Wizzair 5775. Have a good evening.
Stop here, because I don't know if you have to turn right. Let's go to the
Wizzair
assigned gate.
5775. Request taxi to company gate.
Wizzair 5775, Gate Charlie 22 taxi via Bravo, Golf, Juliet Oscar, Hotel, Hotel 1.
Gate Charlie 22 via Bravo, Golf, Juliet Oscar, Hotel, Hotel 1 Wizzair 5775.
So, I really don't know this airport, hotel, so we're gonna go through here, not also Bravo, and then, oh my god, let me zoom in. Alright, so Bravo, where we are right now, and then go through Golf. Where is Golf? this is Gulf. Something's not right. Gulf is right here. What is it saying? So Gulf, Juliet Oscar, Hotel and Hotel 1. So maybe do something like this. Oh, there's Juliet Oscar, so we're gonna need to go down here. Alright, let's go. Don't worry, I'll wing it. I'll always wing it. Let's go. Let's go up front and then make a right hand turn. So we got flaps going on. We're gonna make a single engine taxi. Turn on a bleed air. So make a right hand turn up there, up ahead. Pass through this gate here. It's not here. It's on the other side. Oh, should we go? Oh yeah, it's right here. Alright, I got it. So right hand turn here, just follow the plaques, I suppose. So this one I believe is Golf. Yep, there's a Golf. We're in Golf. We're good. We're good. We're not lost yet. And I think we should make a left-hand turn here. Nice classic Lufthansa there. Yeah, left-hand turn here. Let's see what's written on the ground here. This looks like a gate, but it's not a gate. Alright, Juliet, there we go. We're good, we're good. Juliet, and then right to hotel, right there, hotel. So right hotel. Could be left though. No, it's right. Right hotel. Václav Havel Airport, Prague. Nice. There it is, hotel. And now I'm searching for Hotel 1 after this one. So for now, hotel. There's a left-hand turn probably there. It's hard when you don't know the planes, right? Firm. All right, I'll use that. Firm landing. Yeah, you're right, Richard. Oh, look at this. Hotel 1, so we're good. So Hotel 1 to the left, here we go. Let's turn Hotel 1. And now we're going to search for gate C22. I think it's just this one right here, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. It's 22. It's this one. It's the first one. Alright, I don't like to wait anyways. Ooh, that was a bit of a swift turn here. Yep, this is the one. 22 Alpha. But I don't see BDGS or the Marshal. Did GSX correctly? No, C22 with Airpiece, but I don't see anybody at the gate there. Well, let's carry on, just see if the Airpiece wakes up. After landing checklist. Oh, there it is, Airpiece. We're toasting everybody. I was so concentrated with the taxi that I forgot to run the after landing checklists. Right, we'll do it in a moment. Let's zoom in for your viewing pleasure. To the right, correctly identified as an A320. Slow down. Go to the left. come on, didn't even tell me. Alright, whatever.
All aircraft be advised information per Parnell current QNH1013.
QNH 103, that's quite a different QNH here. Alright. Alright, welcome to Prague. So just real quick, after landing lights were off, nose wheel lights were taxi, flaps up, spoils retracted, disarm, weather radar and predictive wind shear to off, TCAS to off, terrain off, APU is on, wing NTIs off, wing and engine NTIs off, APU bleed is on, and rolling into stand runway turn off lights and nose wheel lights are both off. Parking checklist, parking brake is set, nav aids to off, beacon light off, FCU reset, so we set this like this, so we're gonna set it to 100. Oh, they're already unloading with the passengers. There comes the jetway. So flight directors 1 and 2 to off. ND arc 10, arc 10, arc 10, constraints to off. NTIs is off. Engine master switches both off. Fuel pumps off. Beacon is off. Seatbelt signs to off. External power is on. APU bleed off. And APU master switched off, transponder set to off, and cockpit door to open. Here come the passengers. Oh, and there's the glitch, still glitching. GSX guys, still glitching, and the passengers continue not to be seated, so still bugged. GSX, it's hard to say when this will ever be fixed. Anyway, welcome to Prague. It was a very nice flight, very uneventful, which most of the flights I perform with GSX are, to be honest. No, not GSX, Fenix I mean. They're always pretty much uneventful. This is a very robust add-on. I can never recommend it enough. I think that we are always well served when flying with this amazing airplane. I really recommend it. Can't really say that for all add-ons I fly regularly, but this one I really can do. So guys, if you like what you see, thank you so much for coming. First of all, thank you Richard, thank you LPCB, did I say that correctly? Yeah, LPCB, Dinesh, thank you for coming. And everybody else, Andrew couldn't attend, but I'm sure he's gonna try to watch later. And everybody that watches and then leave their like, I really appreciate it. Let's go outside, let's have a good look see. I'm going outside, Betsy, alright? You'll be alright? I hope you do. So our passengers still coming out. We're going to go down there to the ground. This was Wizzair A320 CEO out of London Gatwick to, oh, I forgot to turn off the wing lights, doesn't matter, out of Gatwick to Prague. A very cool flight, very uneventful flight, which is always good. I was expecting some rough weather, but everything went okay, no big issue. Now the next flight will be out of Prague, and I'm thinking about going all the way to Madeira with Wizzair again, but this time will be a 321 Neo. We'll see how things go. So the cargo has been loaded really fast, unloaded really fast, so really nice to see them working fast. Yeah, so guys, if you liked what you see, then don't forget to leave your like, subscribe, donate if you can via Buy Me a Coffee, share with your friends, appreciate it. And I'll see you next time out of Prague to somewhere. I'm thinking about Madeira, we'll see. In the meantime, let me close this door because these guys, they suck at this. They leave the door open. Oh, oh, oh. Always leave that door open. How do we close this? Hello? Oh, the door is not closing, so maybe you can only close it from the inside. Oh no. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Plane's unloaded, that's what matters. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light.
Vai, mãe ajuda a pôr os do...
I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the